Hi everyone and welcome to this Grace Note. I'm Grace Kelly and every week I'm coming to you live with a different Grace Note. So if you would love to subscribe below, you will get weekly refreshments of words of wisdom really to soothe your soul on lots of different topics and speaking directly to those of you that are looking to escape the rat race or looking to start your own business. And particularly to those of you that are in the world of coaching or healing or teaching. So today I want to speak about getting beyond planning. And this is a topic that is so close to my own heart because I am such a good planner. I like to plan things out. I like to know ahead of time. I like to really use my intellect to get ideas. But I've found over time that my best ideas and the most effortless creations that I've had have not come from my own self-initiated plans. They've come from somewhere deeper. They've come from somewhere much further beyond my intellect. And I call that place my wisdom. You know, I believe that wisdom really brings to us everything we need and also brings to us all we need to accomplish whatever ideas we've got for ourselves and for our lives. And so I'm speaking directly to those of you today that have maybe forgotten that aspect of yourselves. You know, I had a gorgeous coaching conversation this morning with a client who really has been unwell for a while and has been sort of recalibrating, if you like. And she was asking me about, you know, figuring things out and getting herself back out there and sort of feeling that she couldn't rest fully in being unwell. Because she felt that she should be, you know, doing something else. And so we were really exploring why her level of planning and trying to figure out wasn't helpful in that moment. I'm not saying that planning and figuring out is never helpful, but if you find that, you know, you're constantly lost in planning, which just causes more noise in the mind, and frankly, when it's unhelpful, it takes our state of mind south. You know, it really covers up our clear-headedness and the place from which wisdom can access. So her sort of planning and evaluating and sort of self-initiating, figuring things out was not helpful. In fact, it was really making her unable to rest and fully recover. And so I was really sharing with her this morning why any self-initiated figuring out and planning wasn't likely to yield results. Now, this might be news for some of you, because I know for those of you that are really just starting out in your business, or those of you that have a lot on your plate with life, it really looks like a good idea to plan, you know. And again, I'm not saying that's not helpful, but there's an element of you thinking everything is up to you. And therefore, when we think that way, I need to plan it, I need to figure it out, I need to get it right, we leave very little room for wisdom. And wisdom is really so important, especially for those of us for everybody, but particularly for those of us that are making a living through self-employment or entrepreneurship or on our own. Let's say we're not getting a paycheck at the end of the month. So we really do rely on our wisdom and our ideas and our truth to really send forth out into the world what it is we've got to give. And so for us in particular, we can't really afford, if you like, to spend our lives lost in a lot of insecure thought, a lot of self-evaluating thought, a lot of planning thought, Because it seems to me now that this kind of over planning and constant planning, it's just, again, it's another way to kind of put layers of thinking on top of thinking. And for me, what I have seen over time is that that takes us out of the present moment. That takes us away from our own wisdom. And it is in following that wisdom that we actually see results quite effortlessly, actually. I remember really having an insight around just how much planning I was doing, unhelpful planning, when I was on retreat in Devon last year. And I was on taking a gorgeous walk in these beautiful grounds. And I was sort of, I was thinking about whether or not I was going to turn left or right at the end of the road, even though I was nowhere near it. Whether or not I was going to have coffee or tea at the coffee bar when I got there. I was planning what I would have for breakfast. Then I was planning what I would do that afternoon. Then I was evaluating why I shouldn't have an English breakfast and what I should have instead. All of this noise is what I noticed on that walk. All of this very serious planning and evaluating that was taking me out of the present moment, away from the enjoyable walk that I was on, and leaving absolutely no room for wisdom to come through. Ironically, what I noticed is when I got to the coffee bar, I automatically ordered the breakfast anyway, even though I had evaluated all the reasons I shouldn't have it and all the reasons why I should have something else. It was like it just came out of my mouth. It was just like, to me, it was such a lesson in we don't need to overthink things. When we get to the moment that we're going to be in, that's when the decision can get made. That's when the idea can come to light. So there's an innocence to our humanity where we feel we have to make the decision in advance. We have to make the decision now. We have to plan everything out immediately. We have to evaluate all the options. This week, I want you to notice when you're doing that. I want you to notice, and I want you to let the reins go and rest in the wisdom that whatever you need to know will be there for you in the moment that you need it. Not before, not after. That whatever planning and evaluating you're doing, if it seems like it's getting out of control and it's becoming just constant noise and obsessive, notice it and let it go. By noticing and seeing what you're doing with your own thinking, I can promise you it will start to move on. It's designed to go that way. So, let's use our minds for creation and creativity, and most of all, wisdom that comes to us and through us, that does not come from us thinking up or figuring out or getting a sort of an intellectual idea. I hope this has been helpful. I'd love to know what you're hearing in this one. And I think I can safely guarantee a really enjoyable weekend and week for you all when you're not lost in that overwhelm, that decision making and that planning. And for those of you that are feeling like you have a gun to your head, like you absolutely have to plan something, have to decide something, have to make the decision now, well, I'm going to challenge you to really sort of sit back on any of that, because when that is going on, when there is a gun to your head and you are trying to figure things out, as you'll notice, nothing comes to light. Just more stress, more anxiety, more getting lost in thought, and more of your state of mind going south. We really do not want a southern state of mind because that is the place that really we can't get anything done, and we don't hear initially our own wisdom. We kind of have it all covered up. So let me know what you're hearing in this one. Rest easy, take the reins off, and just be available to wisdom instead of your own self-initiated plans. Have a great week. Bye.